Hello, this is Hal Runkle, author of Scream-Free Parenting. This is your Ask Hal question. How do we establish healthy bedtime routines? Well, the phrasing of the question like that tells me you're already on the right path. Because when you think of it as a routine, then you're doing better than this haphazard, we got to get done, we got to get it ready at the last minute, and everybody's crazy, and whew. We've all done that, and it's exhausted us, but not in a way that gets us ourselves ready for a good night's sleep. I don't think it gets them ready either. What does work is that it's a routine filled with certain rituals. Some are have-tos, some are want-tos, but they all fit in. And the more consistent we can be with this routine, then the more consistent our bodies will get in terms of entering into that restful state that allows for the best night's sleep, which our kids so desperately need. So, there's lots of things that got to get done. There's brushing teeth, right? There's maybe reading a story. There's washing face or taking showers. There's prayers, perhaps. There's lots of different things. So, consistency of that routine is number one. Number two, involve your kids in the development of that routine. Talk to them about what they like and observe for you. Talk with them about what parts they like, what parts they don't, what order that they. So involve your kids in the process of defining that routine. Observe which parts are easier for them than others. Observe which do they complain about, which do they do readily. Also ask them earlier than you think they can, but involve them in, hey, which do you think should come first? Do you want to brush your teeth first? Whatever. And then establish it. We even print it out. I remember we had a printout, and we learned this from some other parents, of these are the things that have to get checklist. These are the things that got to get done. But it's in an order, and eventually it was a different order for each of our kids. Because that's the ultimate goal, is to establish a routine that they eventually then own. So they establish their own routine so they can do these things without us having to hover over them every step of the way. I promise you this can happen as early as a 5-year-old, 6-year-old. They can begin to do this on their own. And when we think of it as that's our job, is to train them to do that, then we're going to get in this mindset of involving them from the beginning. Now also involve your co-parent. That might be a spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, might be a grandmother, but talk about it before you actually get into, now here's what has to happen tonight. Talk about it. What do they think? What do they see that works best? Because a lot of times I'll see this pattern, I've heard it a lot of times, about one parent gets them all riled up, playtime, right before it's time to go down to bed. The stereotype is this is what the dad does, but I've seen it both ways. So maybe you build playtime into that routine. Talk to the other parent about when do you think this is best? When would you like to do it? Because maybe it's a fantastic routine that the family goes through before they enter into that good night. So consistency and involvement. And one certain final thing is we absolutely have to do it earlier with a longer runway than we think. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts, meaning listing all the things that have to get done, that you can time how much each of them has to get done, but the entire routine is going to take longer because of the transitions between each of the tasks. And so much of the frustration we have is that we're thinking it shouldn't have to take this long. It should be done already. And that gets us in this really reactive mode. So, start the process earlier. Earlier than you think it should. Start it earlier so that there's a long runway and there's some flexibility and adaptability. And you can do, hey, you got 5 minutes to brush your teeth. Hey, when you're starting off training them. Okay, you got 3 minutes to wash your face, or you got 10 minutes in the bath, or whatever it is. You got 10 minutes to help put up the dishes. It's this process where you're giving them kind of a heads up before they get there, but you're also understanding it's a longer time than it quote unquote should take. But here's another reason why I want you to start earlier, is because put on your own oxygen mask first. You know that's a strong principle in scream-free parenting, and one of the best ways to do that is get your kids to bed so that you can have some time for yourself before you have to go to bed. because that time is so precious. That time is adult time. So that's the time for you to watch movies and TV shows that you wouldn't watch when they're awake. It's a time for you to participate in your own bedtime rituals with your soulmate. It's a time for you to participate in your own bedtime rituals before you want to go to sleep. I promise you, that time and looking forward to that time is one of the best ways to get through the baby and toddler and young kid days, is knowing they're going to be asleep by 8 o'clock and we're going to have that time and we're going to watch that show on Netflix, or we're going to have that conversation, or we're just going to veg out and have that a glass of wine or whatever. Looking forward to that time so helps both people, all people, get through that time. And it helps you not feel totally resentful that your whole day revolves around them. So, consistency. So, consistency, involvement, long runway. So, consistency, involvement, a long runway. These are the keys to having a healthy bedtime routine. This is Hal Runkle. This has been your Ask Hal question on the Pause platform, and there are tons of other questions and answers there. You can always send us a question on our Facebook page or ask Hal at screamfree.com.